Hello everybody, welcome back for another video, and without further ado, let's jump right into it. Cathie Wood's Ark Invest believes that the price of Bitcoin could exceed $1 million in the coming years amid a strengthening global value proposition. In a recent published report, Ark Invest says that Bitcoin's long-term opportunity is in the up and up. The report highlights that Bitcoin's unique features could offer people a way out of centralized monetary systems that have failed to provide strong economic assurances. Ark Invest says that 4 billion people live under authoritarian regimes, with 2 billion people enduring double-digit inflation and 1 billion people relying on remittances. That's a lot of peoples. As the monetary revolution, the firm says that Bitcoin is censorship-resistant, inflation-resistant, and seizure-resistant? Okay. While also being audible and transparent, Ark Invest solidifies Bitcoin's use case by showing that, and this is very important, that in 2020 alone, there was $38 trillion worth of volume transaction money, $38 trillion that passed just through Bitcoin. You have to understand the significance of something like that is not controlled by anyone or any government. Representing over 36% of the $105 trillion in total value transferred since Bitcoin's inception. You understand how much $105 trillion is? These numbers actually become almost inconceivable when you try to imagine them. You must have seen the videos online where they show you $1, $10, $100, $1 million, 100 million, what $1 billion looks like, what 10 billion, $100 billion. Sometimes some of the videos will show you the idea of what $1 trillion looks like. It's absolutely inconceivable. Now imagine $105 trillion just through one network. As for the firm's outlook on Bitcoin's current trend, Ark Invest believes that Bitcoin may have likely witnessed the worst of the crypto downturn from last year. Here's a little chart right here. Here's the numbers as well. They believe that in the worst case scenario, Bitcoin should be at $250,000 by 2030. That is the worst case scenario. By normal numbers, where normally we would be, they predict that by the year 2030, Bitcoin should be at $682,000. That's a very exact number. And they said the best case scenario in a bull case over the course of the next 7 years is we see a $1.48 million Bitcoin. I don't know for certain. Do we know how many Bitcoin Ark Invest actually has? I feel like it's a huge number. These are one of the companies that we used to hear a little bit from a couple of years ago. Now, for some reason, they're always in the news. It used to always be MicroStrategy and Grayscale. They were like the heavy Bitcoin champions, but now Ark Invest is in the news every single day. I think the woman who's the CEO, her name is Cathie Woods. I think it's the same person. She loves Bitcoin and she loves Coinbase. She thinks that Coinbase is going to be the best thing that has ever happened to finance. She's always in the news every time that the stock market falls. She buys like another $25 million worth of Coinbase stock. So regardless of where prices are, people are constantly very bullish on the cryptocurrency space. And for some reason this year, we're getting a lot of like 2030 price predictions. I mean, to be fair, in 2017, we got an enormous amount of 2025 Bitcoin price predictions. And now the fact that that's only 2 years away, I guess the new thing that everyone is, always looking ahead. So we're getting a lot of where Bitcoin's going to be in 2030 kind of thing. So that's a thing. That's the Ark Invest believes that Bitcoin in the worst case scenario will be at $250,000 by 2030. Yeah. Let's move on. In incredibly surprising news, I would have never thought this. Dubai's Virtual Assets Regulatory Authority, or VARA, has prohibited all activities involving privacy coins such as Monero and Zcash. Zash. The regulator has also enforced certain rules on the domestic cryptocurrency sector to turn the city into an international hub for virtual assets. According to the recently released document, operations with anonymity-enhancing digital assets such as Monero and Zcash are now forbidden in the financial heart of the UAE, known as Dubai. The local watchdog also set authorization requirements that crypto firms need to pass before popping up in the region. It's basically AML, KYC, 1, 2, 3, and all those other things. So if you didn't catch the tone of my voice, that was a joke. Of course, they were going to be forbidding and or banning the usage of these coins. This has been a long discussion. Even well before we got to the idea of what is a security and unregistered security, all those other things. Governments don't like people using their money how they want. I couldn't phrase it any other way. The words just kind of came out. While Dubai is a very wealthy, gigantimous economic hub that has zero income taxes, it stands by logic to understand that they would probably still not want people to, and I air quotes here, to launder money at will. And a lot of countries, while they already don't like stable coins, you know what they don't like even more than that? Coins that they can't trace. We had news a long time ago that Bitcoin was private, it was anonymous, and governments were like, nope, we know where every single transaction is going, and this is why we have Chainalysis and the other one, and Sentiment, and all the other trackers. So it makes sense that coins that would stop them from being able to keep the governmental controls that they have long kept would make sense that they would be forbidden. So, yeah. Every other country has done it. It just Dubai got there as well. So, that's the Dubai is banning coins and have private transactions. And I think Dash and Litecoin, I think you can turn off their private transactions. So, that's probably why they're not on this list. Yeah. That's the forbidding Monero and Zcash news. All right. Let's move on. Also in the news, leading crypto exchange Binance has announced they will be delisting, I don't even know what these are, FIO, GNO, IRIS, MLN, and WTC trading pairs from isolated margin borrowing on the 16th of February at 6 in the morning. Binance will be closing users' positions, conducting an automatic settlement and cancel all pending orders for FIO to Bitcoin, FIO to Binance US dollar, FIO to USDT. Is Gnosis to USDT, Iris to Bitcoin, Iris to USDT, MLN, is that melanin? I don't know, MLN coin to Bitcoin, MLN to BUSD, MLN to USDT, WTC to BTC, and WTC to USDT. I'm sure someone is like, what is happening? I have a really good friend of mine. She is incapable of investing, like from, start to finish. She knows nothing about it. She wants to know nothing about it. She lives her life in a very, not a bohemian way, but she goes with the flow. There's nothing about crypto, especially not crypto, that she even wants to begin to learn. But I was talking to her one day about something and she was like, oh, you have the YouTube channel, right? And I was like, yeah. So she was like, okay, I'm gonna watch an episode. I saw her a week later and she was like, I had to leave after 5 minutes because I didn't understand anything you were saying. So I asked her which video she was watching, and like we watched like the beginning of it together. And I was trying to explain it was very simple things. Like I think I was talking about SHA-256, like really basic things in crypto. She was like, I thought you were speaking Japanese and it just made no sense to me. So she's like, I went to go water my plants. So anyway, the point of the matter is, I'm sure me reading all those names, someone else felt the same. Anyway, Binance has also said that users will not be able to update their positions during the delisting process and advise its users to close their positions and or transfer their assets from their margin wallet to their spot wallet prior to the ceasing of margin trading. I assume these are coins that no one was asking for in the first place. Binance lists everything onto their platform. I assume the transaction daily volume for these things was about $14.50. So this is why they're delisting all their pairs, because you would not delist a pair that was making you tons of money. It's probably costing them more to run everything and list these things than anything else. So if you have or know what a FIO is, a GNO, I think GNO is Gnosis, Iris, no idea, Melanin, and WTC coin, what the coin or something like that? Yeah, just know that your coin is being delisted from all those margin trading pairs because, nobody's using those coins. Anyway, that's the Binance news. What? More delistings? That's crazy. It's almost like, yeah, let's move on. Also in the news, this was very big news. Finland-based peer-to-peer cryptocurrency platform known as LocalBitcoins is shutting down operations after being around for more than 10 years. LocalBitcoins officially announced the termination of their service on the 9th of February, citing tough market conditions of the ongoing cryptocurrency winter. They said, regardless of our efforts to overcome challenges and turn our trade volumes and declining market share back to growth, we have regretfully concluded that LocalBitcoins can no longer provide its Bitcoin trading services. This was said by the CEO to Cointelegraph. At the time of the announcement, LocalBitcoins had around roughly 50 employees. I know there's a huge portion of you who have never heard of LocalBitcoins. It is one of the literal first cryptocurrency exchanges. The idea is that you would basically, I think there was an app or a website, I don't remember, where basically you would find other people in your area. Like you're like, hey, I'm in Texas. Why'd I say Texas? I know nothing about Texas. Hey, I'm in London. That one works. And you're like, hey, where are you? And they're like, I'm in St. John's Wood. And someone else is like, I'm in Brixton. So you take the Victoria line, you meet up somewhere, and then at some point you literally meet in person and you exchange physical paper money. And that's how you would get the Bitcoin a long time ago. However, in 2018, 2019, guess who reared their ugly heads into the space? It was regulators. And they were like, whoa, this is the laundering of money. You can't do this. So slowly but surely, their operations and their websites that were basically running in other countries were slowly shut down. And there was a lot of, the word's not propaganda. I won't throw that word in there. There were two major instances that got into the cryptocurrency news where there were two individuals who were trying to buy Bitcoin locally, like from someone in their area. And the more publicized one was a person allegedly was trying to buy a huge amount of Bitcoin, and they had $50,000 equivalent on them, like in their book bag. And as you might have guessed, I'm sure someone's ear just perked up and they were like, why would you carry $50,000 with you? That's the same thing everyone else was asking. But as the kids say, this person got jacked. They got, and they lost all their money. And of course, they ran to authorities, yada, yada. And that began the everyone being like, oh, something must be wrong with LocalBitcoins. No, it ran for a very long time. It was just fine. But I mean, should, and I'll tell you this lightly, should any other platform like LocalBitcoins exist or that pops up in the future that you decide to use, maybe meet in a cafe at like 2 p.m. in a Starbucks that's, full of people, as opposed to a literal dark alleyway holding $50,000 on you. I just don't know what to, or also just do it the bank transfer way so you are sure that you're going to get your money. So anyway, the point is, after all this time, I assume a large portion of it has to do more with regulations than anything else, because people buying $20 worth of Bitcoin from their neighbor is extremely dangerous, so you got to stop that. LocalBitcoins has encouraged all customers to withdraw their crypto assets from the platform, asking them to proceed with withdrawing Bitcoin from the LocalBitcoins wallet. According to the announcement, users can withdraw their crypto for 12 months. They said, however, of course, we encourage you to proceed with withdrawing sooner. If you are using Bitcoins, you have a friend who used it, you used it maybe a couple of years ago, figure it out. Take your money off of that exchange right now before listen, there was an instance. This was years ago. This was 1,000 years ago. There was an announcement that some crypto exchange was closing down or something like that. I saw it and I was like, okay, cool. I'll deal with it later. Lo and behold, what little money I had at the time on that exchange went back to they took it. The whole exchange was gone, so I couldn't take my money off of it. And I checked years later how much money I would have had as prices rose if I had taken my money off of that exchange. I think it was like $15,000 to $20,000. So don't be me. Take your money off immediately. If you hear that an exchange is doing a delisting or shutting down, don't be TMI. Don't wait weeks or months to be like, oh, snaps, I lost my money. Anyway, like I said, this was very, I guess, unpopular news, but very publicized news. LocalBitcoins to shut down after 10 years of operations. LocalBitcoin shut down amid crypto winter. Bitcoin exchange LocalBitcoins to close, citing market conditions. Realistically, I assume it's a little bit more than the market conditions. I assume it has to do with regulators. I'm trying to find the nice word. Not being nice to them. And therefore, of course, their trading volume will decline. So that's the LocalBitcoins news. And this is the end of a legacy, end of a story, end of a chapter. I don't know. It's the end of something that's been around for a very long time. Yeah, that's the LocalBitcoins news. Let's move on. Why does this thing keep popping up? Go away. Jeez Louise, that's so annoying. So apparently, Binance is now going to be rebranding their Binance custody department to CEFU. Yes, you heard that correctly. That is CEFFU. I wish I was joking. It says if the name sounds familiar, it's because it takes inspiration from the popular secured asset fund for users known as SAFU. So the cryptocurrency space, and I'm glad that we've gotten quite far away from this, but we are still in the trenches. The cryptocurrency space, for some reason, use the word likes. Using words that are not real, such as like HODL, and years ago, the Gemini twins tried to make spedin a thing, so it's spend, but with the letters mixed around. And years ago, I think this was a typo, but who cares? Someone wrote the word safe, but they spelled it SAFU. And then they announced the secure asset fund for users. So I think it's supposed to sound like cute, like, oh my, our funds are SAFU. And it's like, no, like, tell me my money's safe. Like, I'm an adult. I don't need to hear this like goo goo gaga kind of talk when you're talking to me about how much money I might have in your exchange. So now they've changed their custody department to CEFU, CEFFU, because I guess it also, I don't understand. What is this weird thing that people in crypto have? It's the same exact thing with calling Hester Pierce crypto mom. What is this like light touch reassurance that people constantly need to feel like they're being babied in some sort of way? I remember one time there was something that happened that was allegedly linked to Binance. It wasn't linked to Binance at all, but people were reporting it on Twitter. And Changpeng Zhao came forward and he was like, hey, the $150 million hack did not happen to Binance. It happened to whoever. Your funds are SAFU. And I sat there and I was like, if I had almost lost $150 million, you better take the time to write the word SAFE. I don't have time for you to misspell these words. According to the official release, the purpose behind the move is to emphasize the company's commitment to putting the safety of its clients' assets at the forefront of its solutions. So this was also quite big news. I think a lot of people like when these things happen. I mean, listen, if it makes you feel warm inside, I can't really knock it, but sure. So now we got Safu and we got Sefu, and what were the other ones? Because there were multiple. Years ago, people were trying to do all these things for years. People kept on trying to make these things. Like even that guy. Oh gosh, I was so annoyed. Like even when we had HODL, and when that was like a really big thing before Diamond Hands came out, there was that guy on TV who was calling it like HODL, and I'm like, this isn't Game of Thrones. It's not Hodor. Like anyway. That's the Binance. Whoa, Binance custody is now Sefu. That's the news I was waiting for. That's the thing that's going to change the industry. News. And yeah. Let's move on. Also, I'm not sure how she's able to do this. Like I physically don't understand how she can do this. SEC Commissioner Hester Pierce has conceded that her colleagues at the United States Securities and Exchange Commission failed to carefully analyze the digital token XRP before filing the lawsuit against Ripple in December of 2020. Recall that the SEC official had earlier said that Ripple would win in this long-standing XRP lawsuit. So I don't get how Hester Pierce is able to backtalk, smack talk her colleagues like this. Hester Pierce, since around 2018, or maybe even 2019, I don't know, has been very vocal that she's a supporter of the cryptocurrency space. She said she believes that regulation needs to happen, but in her opinion, it's more like she wants to make sure that customer funds are actually secure in like an FDIC kind of way. If your money's on a crypto exchange, you should know what's happening to it, who's doing what to it, and should the exchange go down, you can get your money back. She's been very open about all of these things. She said she does not think that about 90% of the coins are not security. She said some of them do stand out, but she mentioned before Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, etc., etc. These are not at all securities to her. What I'm saying is, I don't know many people who would be able to work in an industry and say the opposite of everything that their colleagues say and still not get fired or, be shunned away into the Netherlands. That is to say the Darklands. Anyway, the point is, right. So anyway, Hester Pierce reportedly termed the examination carried out by her SEC colleague on XRP a shorthand analysis per a tweet by pro-crypto advocate John Deaton. I think John Deaton is a lawyer, I think he's one of the main people who keeps chiming in for the XRP lawsuit. The so-called shorthand constitutes an unconstitutional shorthand taken by the SEC in the XRP lawsuit that violated 76 years of case law. He wrote, Hester Pierce admitted that her colleagues at the SEC performed a shorthand analysis and focused on the token itself instead of the circumstances surrounding the offering and sale of the token, the contract, transaction, or scheme. Here's a tweet for it right here. But we all... Gonna get my thoughts together. I'm getting flustered. We know that the SEC lied. We know that it was fraudulent that they launched the lawsuit on the last day of the former head of the SEC. Like, there's no real confusion here for any of us. None of us are sitting here being like, well, is something going on? No, like, it's abundantly clear what they've done. Why is Hester Pierce the only person, even for those of you who missed it, the whole thing that happened with Kraken and Kraken US no longer being able to have staking, she also came forward and was like, that's incorrect. Like, that's also wrong. So she's the commissioner. Is it like a voting matter in the SEC? Was she simply outvoted every single time? Are there 10 people working in the office and 9 of them said yay, and therefore Kraken and Ripple gets in trouble while she's the only? How is she? Why would you work for a company that you don't agree with? It doesn't make any sense to me. Something's not adding up. None of this. Every single day we get news like this, I'm not understanding how she cannot agree with them. But anyway, so John Deaton, as far as I know, I think for a while now, he's the one who keeps posting updates about the lawsuit happening on Twitter. And when you hear from the commissioner of the SEC, commissioner? Is she a commissioner? Wait for it. Commissioner. SEC commissioner. that she thinks that Ripple is also going to win the lawsuit. What is wrong with the SEC on every single count? I just don't get it. So anyway, the same as I've said before, it's nice to have a clever, understanding voice within the regulatory regime dictatorship. I don't know what word you want to throw inside there. But cool. I wish more people were like Hester Pierce. We'd be so much farther along. You have to understand, when you talk about this industry being worth multiple $1 trillion, I'm sure there's so much money being passed around. I think it would be flabbergasting to all of us. Something's not right. Something is amiss. All of this stuff, you don't regulate like this. You regulate to make sure that an industry is actually safe, and that's the exact opposite of what the SEC has done. So, anyway, that's the Hester Pierce said that Ripple should be winning the lawsuit, and apparently she admitted that they violated 76 years of case law. Just make it make sense. All right, let's move on. Also in the news, light news, I guess, 400 million ADA tokens have been staked since early December. That's currently around 72% of all ADA tokens are currently being staked. It's a huge number. It's gigantic. I wish that numbers like this translated into proper movements in the market. Like, imagine at any given point you heard that there was a stock of a company, and that stock was 72% of it for some reason was locked up and wasn't being touched. You couldn't touch it for whatever reason. That stock would probably skyrocket in price as 72% of it is off of the market. So I hope that eventually these things do one day translate into proper numbers for the cryptocurrency space. Because if you had told me years ago that 72% of Cardano at some point was going to be locked up, especially in the year 2023, I would have been like, well, we're obviously going to have a $5 to $10 Cardano. What else would be happening? Same exact thing with many other coins, but alas. Yeah, 400 million Cardano tokens have been staked since December. 72%. Like, does the price rise when it hits 80%? Does the price go up when it goes to 85%? I would love to see what would happen to Cardano's price if 99% of tokens were staked. Because if the price went down on any day, I would call witchcraft. 72%. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. That's the whoa news. And yeah, let's move on. In the news that you've all been waiting for, Paris Hilton, yes, that Paris Hilton, is apparently opening up a virtual reality dating experience. Yeah, you heard that right. Paris Hilton, an American media personality, businesswoman, socialite, rich person, model, and entertainer, has partnered with The Sandbox to launch something called Parisland? Oh, Parisland, of course. According to the announcement shared on the 9th of February, Parisland is an in-game dating show where users will be able to interact with 5 potential romantic partners. Like I said, you've all been waiting for this. The Parisland will launch right before Valentine's Day. So, okay, the 13th of February, fantastic. In the virtual reality dating experience, users will... Is this coming to Netflix? I feel like this will be coming to Netflix. In the virtual reality dating experience, users will have to complete various missions, including finding the secret of the chef's famed love burger. My goodness. Rescuing a castaway and flirting with other contestants, and most importantly, finding true love. When talking about Parisland, the Sandbox co-founder felt obligated to say these words. He said, I can't think of a better way to light up the winter months than a romantic Valentine's Day getaway to Paris Hilton's tropical island in the metaverse. It's so cringy. Tropical island in the metaverse. Paris Land offers a dazzling experience. Sunny beaches, lighthearted romance, and genuine emotion as you discover and woo your romantic partner and celebrate with a destination wedding. How much money was he paid for that? The co-founder of the Sandbox had to say all that without cracking a smile or being like, I was paid for this. Like, we got money in some sort of way. Anyway, yeah, that's the news of the day. What? Paris Hilton. Yes, that's this woman right here, Paris Hilton, has she bought some land in the metaverse and she is launching Paris Land. Par Island is what I would call it. Par Island metaverse. Anyway, that's to be fair, if I can be, the Sandbox has like all the major partnerships. So I assume that Paris was like, hey, I can't go to the other one. I got to use the Sandbox. And then with a name as big as Paris, you are lightly obligated to give information as she's in your metaverse. She bought some land, I assume. So you gotta kiss the ring. That's the Paris Hilton, Paris Island metaverse. What? My gosh, I can't wait to not go there. And yeah, let's move on. Yeah, I do hope that you have all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. Do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again. I don't know. I didn't even have any sugar. I don't know what's going on. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and or supporting in your own way. And I will most certainly be talking to you all. A lot of buses here. Jeez, so many buses today. A lot of buses. Talking to you all soon. See you.